Hello again. I'm looking at the leading lines in this particular video, and our leading lines image is going to be the one which starts off our portfolio. And I've taken images from Unsplash, a website where you can get images from. You might be familiar with it or you might not be. When I say you can get images from, that's not for you to use in your portfolio, by the way. It's just a place where I'm using them, so we get generic images for us to look at. And I'm going to go through them and show you the different kinds of leading lines that we could be thinking about. It's just purely for ideas. There's some images taken inside, there's some images taken outside, and I'm going to go through the images and show you what I like and I don't like about the construction of the images and how maybe they could have been done better. So let's have a look. So for this particular one, I'm using a piece of software that I'm not really familiar with, so give me, if things go wrong, give me time. Okay, so on this particular one, what I really like here is the different leading lines that we got going on. So we've got these wooden planks, or a drop down board we call it, that actually create leading lines going to the teapot, and also going in the other directions as well, so leading to the bowls with the tea in it. So there's lots of leading lines going on within this image. I also like this one coming in from the corner, which takes us up in this direction and highlights this really nice colour of blue, which is framing the composition, what's going on within it. I like the curvature of this leading line. So leading lines don't always have to be straight, they can have a curve to them, they can lead round to an interesting point. The only thing I think I would, in this particular image, that I would have re-looked at or maybe done slightly different is this area here. It's just a little bit distracting coming in from the side of the image. I think everything else really works nice. It's very nice, simple kind of image, but then there's this bit of a distraction going on with this bit here. So that would be the only thing that I would have changed about this particular image. And just go back to drawing here. We're talking about the leading lines being the front cover image, the one where you're going to have to lay the text down onto, like, the university logo, the name of the module, your name, your ID number, my name. So we need to have a bit of an area where we can use to actually lay that information down on. And this particular image does really well here. In fact, you've got this area here that you can use to put that information into. So that's a nice area, be it a little bit small. That's one of the problems with that one. But if we go on to the next one, which is this one, this is very, very simple, very, very simple indeed. You've got this mass of open space here where you can actually put your information into. You can use white to actually then as a font colour, and it wouldn't be distracted. So you've got the white university logo that you can lay down in this area as well, and it works very well. So you could use white. You could, let's have a look. Black is even as good. So obviously you wouldn't use the blue one, the blue. Well, it's coming out black. Why is that coming out black? Let me try again. There you go, blue. See, blue doesn't work as well, obviously, on a blue background. But what I like about this one is we've got lots of leading lines going in, and then we've got these important leading lines here taking you to your subject. This has got very simple lighting done on it. It could even be window lighting. You could just maybe light with the window, What you need to do though in this kind of particular image is just be very careful with it. You see spots of dust within the image. It's really distracting. It really starts pulling your eye away. So I would just brush this over. If you had a piece of a Lego board like this, I would brush it over. Just make sure that all of the dust is off of it and it's clean and it's tidy and there's no little distractions. And the only other thing that starts to slightly annoy me about this image here, you see the word Lego? Yeah, what it needs to be is towards the viewer. So these little things we need to look at and make sure that we don't get them wrong. So turn the board round on this particular one. You've got the word Lego looking the right way round, and it doesn't become a distraction, but nice leading lines, and the yellow and the blue complementary colours work well together. Simplistic shot works really well. So let's have a look at our next one that I found. Just going to have a sip of me tea. Just hang on. Sorry about that. When you're talking, your mouth gets a bit dry. But yeah, this is brilliant. This one, I love this one. It's absolutely brilliant. See, we've got the thumb, leading line, lines on the page, leading line, line on the page, leading line. This white background, which looks like a window, curtain coming down. So it's all leading us to this area here, which, you know, is our subject, is our thing that we want to look at. So it's a simplistic image. You must think that I really like simplistic images. Well, you know, if it's something's uncluttered and there's not too many distractions, it keeps the viewer where you want them to be. You've got to use those kind of elements to keep the viewer where it is. If you've got lots of things going on in the image, your eye goes all over the place. Now the thing about this image that I would work on and that I would sort out is, you see this area here? I would do something in post-production just to tidy that up. So maybe we've got a bit of space there that we can lay our text and our information down on. You could also think about, you know, maybe using this area here as well to lay down text information. So, you know, so you make that an actual feature, the page there. Use that area there if you wanted to. University logo you could put on there, your name or something more interesting. So use elements within the picture to actually help you lay down structure as such. So where are we next? This one here pops into view. See how in this this one here, how we've got leading lines coming in, all helping. Okay, and again we've got colours. This one here, this one, all work together. And when you place it on that dark background, they really stand out nice and work well together. The only thing you got to be careful on is the light is coming in from this direction. How do I know that? Well, you can see here, this area here is actually lighter than areas down here, and will become even darker in these areas as well. So let's not get this kind of graduating effect of light coming down. When you've got a simple background like this, try and keep the colour as even as you possibly can so it looks really good. So you might have to do something post-production to actually get rid of that lighter area, because this is looking almost like a dark grey and we're going down to a black here. So again, there's those little things that, you know, work well. If you can get these little things done well within your photography, it helps and it looks a lot better. So this one here, kitchen, can be done in your kitchen. Really simple image. I'm gonna have to stop using the word simple because it makes it sound like, you know, they're all really easy images. And sometimes, you know, when the image looks simple, it's quite a complicated process. You know, it's never that easy. But let's break this one down. What we've got going on here, we've got this leading line of the hand going down to the tap, follow it round, and then it comes down and it goes into the water. So that's a brilliant leading line you've got going on there, you know, going right from where it comes in and down, round. Fantastic, that one there. Again, areas to watch out for. When you've got an image like this, watch out for light area so it doesn't bleed out into the colour that you're using. So if for this, say if we're doing the PowerPoint for our presentation, we might have to think about maybe using a different colour here, but we need to keep our pages the same kind of colour all the way through the portfolio. That way it doesn't start to confuse the viewer. So have a look at the images that you're creating overall and think to yourself, what kind of colour will they sit nicely on? Are we going to be using, you know, a white, a dark grey, a black, or even a colour? But if you're using a white, a grey, a dark black, how's that going to work with the colour of the font that you're using, you know, within the actual structure and layout? So those things you have to be careful of. Again, if you look here, okay, we've got a tap or something like that. See the line coming out, taking us away from the picture. So you don't want nothing leading out. So that would have been better if it was going off in that direction instead of coming off down in that way, because we've got this leading line coming down here to that tap, which is then taking us out of the image. So just keep those things in. You know, when you're sorting out an image, sorting out your shot and stuff like that, just think about what you could do to actually make sure that things are going to work nicely for you. We're starting to lose some detail here in this water, okay, because it's very bright. So the light is coming in from this direction, hitting it from behind. So, you know, we're losing a little bit of detail. What you could do is, if you could put some black material down here, okay, and that light would come in from this direction, hit the black material, and then take the black back into the glass. So that would help fill in detail around in this area here. So again, it just needs that little bit more of a shadow being pushed back into the page. This one here, you know, using somebody's legs as a leading line, taking you to a point of view and so on. But again, just watch, like we've got up here, those highlights bleeding out into a white background. So we're not sure where the image will end and where it's going to, but we've got strong leading lines being done with the feet taking us out to the landscape beyond. The only thing I would try and maybe do a little bit different is I don't know if we would really need to have as much of this blank space up here, but again we could use this blank space for putting in the information that we need to put in, university logo, your name and so on. But then we just need to make sure that we've got an end to the image, because at the moment it's just bleeding out into the background paper, and that's what we don't want. So this one here could be, you know, it's done inside, so it works well. So we've got this nice leading line here. See how this one flows all the way, taking us all the way to here, to where we look at. things to look out for. You know, you might have to do something with that in your editing software. Not much we can do about this one. It is a bit of a distraction, but you know, it's those kind of things we have to live with. But certainly this one, if I was taking this picture, I'd look at that bit to see what I could do about it. But I like these railings which are holding up the handbar. You know, all they go, leading lines. Nice image, that one. Pencil, we've looked at these pencils before. See the leading line, yeah. And with all of these colours here being the same, I say all of these colours, the wood, the texture here, all the same. It's not distracting in any way. So then, you know, each of these colours then becomes like a leading line. So we follow those colours up and down all over the place. Like I said before, it doesn't always have to be a straight line. There can be some curvature to it, you know. And so then we've got a nice big open area here, which you can play down your university logo. How long do you think it would take you to maybe set up an image like this? What do you think would be the difficulty in setting up an image as such like this? You know, it's keeping all of those pencils, you know, together would be one of them. So you might be the case of, like, you might have to put bits of blue tack down to actually, you know, keep them all in one place so they're not moving. But look what we've got going on here. Okay, that one there slightly being raised above the others. It's a little bit of distraction going on with it. This one here, I would have liked that to be a little bit more cleaner. And the other things, like when you've got a simple shot like this, when you're looking like this kind of simple shot, these little things start to stand out even more. So you've got those little distractions here. So just be careful. Just look at the image and think, what is a distraction? What's going to pull the eye of the viewer away from the subject matter? So yeah, it's just looking at those little bits and pieces and making sure that they're really clean and tidy. I wouldn't have had that one within this image. I would have just maybe finished, you know, straight against there because it's a bit of a distraction. But good image. So again, simple things like, you know, a tape measure, you know, creating that line for you, taking you back and keeping the viewer in on that area. You don't have to go and find complicated shots. You don't have to. They can be as simple as this, you know, which makes good photography. Okay, in the times of that we're living at the moment, the beginning of it, what's it called, self-isolation and social distancing. So you might think to yourself, I've got to keep away from people. It's not always necessarily the case. We've got the government guidelines about, you know, being 2 meters away from one another as such and stuff like that. But an image like this, if you're fortunate enough to have on your camera a self timer, you could set up this image quite simply. You know, you place your camera down here, run round in front of the camera, and there you go. You've got an image there. So what's wrong with this? You know, I know this one looks like it's been done in some kind of, like, say, I would say a garage where cars park, you know, here and so on, and everything else. But this one, you could do, say, maybe the hall of where you live in, you know, your home, the corridor, hallway, you know, those kind of things. So you know, you could have a leading line in terms of the wall coming in, both walls coming into where you're standing. You know, there could be lines on your carpet, or even create a line on your carpet. you know, maybe put down an arrow with masking tape or something like that. Think about what you can actually do to create these images. Sorry, just one moment. There's Galloway calling me whilst I was just finishing off there, so I'm going to stop the recording now so I can give him a call back. Sorry about that. Be back with you soon.